This is Ruben with Philosophy. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you like this video or any of my videos, please like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you find it in your heart, you can always donate to Philosophy. This mission, this program is run by your contributions. This is how we keep it going. This is how we are starting to produce products. Anything helps. $1, $2, $5, a cup of coffee. Anything helps. So be greatly appreciated if you can. Today I want to talk about Roth IRA and retirement and why it's so important. And it's, you know, ideally you want to start saving for your retirement when you're young, in your 20s, early 20s. But there's some people who are a little bit older and they passed already that threshold. It's still not late for you guys either. You should start immediately as soon as you can. So we're going to talk about a little bit about the Roth IRA, my opinions on it, and what is the best solution, in my opinion, for you to go about creating a Roth IRA. Now, this video is for people who may not have a 401k. If you have a 401k, I would suggest you keep it as long as your company that you work for can match it. So I'm gonna do a separate video on that, but it's possible if they can match it, definitely stick with your 401k. But I want to talk about the Roth. So the origin of a Roth IRA, it was created in 1997 and named after Senator William Victor Roth II, which was born in 1921, passed away in 2003. He was from Delaware, and he proposed this to Congress, and it passed. Now, what is the Roth IRA? Just to give you the basic definition, it's an individual retirement account, allowing a person to set aside after tax income. After tax. So that means that if you have a 401k and once you hit that age where you can take out your money, you have to pay taxes for it because it's before tax. A Roth IRA is after tax, so you already paid tax for it. So after tax income up to a specified amount each year. I believe the limit is 5,000. Double check that, but you can put up to like 5,000 a year. And both earnings on the account and withdrawals after age 59 and a half are tax free. That's beautiful. So if you were to take out this money before 59 and a half, you will have to pay taxes. And that's sort of like the government saying, hey, this should be for your retirement. Don't take it out, And if you can wait till 59 and a half, you can get it out tax free. So it's a great investment. Now, what are the pros and cons? So as an example, if a 20-year-old puts, let's say, $5,000 into a Roth for 10 years and then just stops contributing towards it, because they make more than the face-out amount or need a tax deduction of future contributions to a traditional retirement account, The 10 years of Roth contributions and growth, let's say at 8% interest a year to age 65, could total about 1,070,944 of tax-free dollars. This is why Einstein said compound interest is a wonder of the world. Um, don't quote me on that, but he said something similar to it. So basically, it's money that you can put towards your retirement, and it grows. It accumulates interest, and this is why the earlier you can go ahead and contribute towards this Roth IRA, the better for you, because of that compound interest. Now, let's say you start late. Well, you're not going to accumulate as much interest as you would have if you started, as in this example, at 20 years old. And and that is why, if let's say you're 20 and you contribute 5,000 a year for 10 years, you're set for your retirement. You've already saved up. If you start in your 30s, you may need to go ahead and double that. You may need to put away 10,000 to get the same amount, the 1 million and so forth, by age 65. So you see how it works. Now, the earlier you can put it in, the best, because of that interest that will accumulate. And you see how much you literally can create wealth. That's one of the great things about this country, is that anybody can create wealth if you understand the principle of compound interest and take advantage of it the earliest as you can. Even if you're not 20 or 30, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, just start right now and put as much as you can. Like, I know people who are 40, 50, and they may have 10, 20 years, 15 years before age 65. What many of them do is that they get a second job, maybe a part-time job, or do something on the side, start a little business, and all the income that they make out of that small business, out of that part-time job, goes towards their 401k, goes towards their Roth IRA. So that's a great way to do it. I mean, if you can, if you can do it earlier, I mean, as I mentioned, the sooner you can start off, the better, because you'll accumulate that compound interest. Now, another thing with a Roth IRA is that, many people, especially those in wealth, those who have, accumulated a lot of wealth, leave the Roth IRA for their heirs, for inheritance. They leave it as an inheritance to, their kids, their sons, their daughters, their granddaughters, and they don't have to touch it. They don't have to touch it, and it can accumulate interest beyond that. So that's a great way to leave a great inheritance. Also, if you have accumulated wealth and you're just not dependent on your retirement. So if you want to leave something behind, yes, create a business, create wealth. The ideal thing, especially those who follow philosophy, is my thing is to create a business, create something that can get you residual income, so you can go ahead and live off that without you having to work for it. And things like a Roth IRA, you can leave as an inheritance, or you can use it for whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's a great thing. Now, if you are creating wealth, right, that may prevent you from being eligible for a Roth IRA, because really a Roth IRA is really meant for your retirement, and it's really meant for medium, the middle class income. So if you make too much, you may not be eligible for a Roth IRA. But one thing that you can do is that if your income is too high, you can convert some or all of your assets in your traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. You'll have to pay taxes for it on the entire amount you convert, but you can go ahead and do it. Of course, I would suggest you talk to a tax specialist and so forth. But that is, that is one thing that you can do. And what is the beautiful thing about the Roth compared to the to a traditional IRA, is that the taxes, when you take it out, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So, well, that's one thing you can do. Now, the maximum you can contribute to a Roth IRA is 6,000, no matter what your age is. 6,000. Now, if you're over 50, and this is where it comes to play, that's why it's never too late. If you are over 50 and older, you can contribute up to 7,000. So there's an extra 1,000 you can put in. This is what the person that started late saving for his retirement, that, the people I know, that's why they have that second job, so they can put at least 7,000 in their Roth IRA, max it out. Now, if you are single or the single head of a household and your modified adjustment gross income is less than 122,000, listen up. The figures for 2018 are 5,500 contribution, 6,500 for 50 and up taxpayers. If you make less than 120,000, okay. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, what if you do make a high income? You have built wealth during your years. You can make partial contributions to it. You'll contribute less, but you can go ahead and contribute towards it. Now, this is a formula devised by the IRS. Now, if you are single and your income is between 122,000 and 137,000, or if that is you, you can go ahead and contribute towards that Roth IRA. If you are married filing jointly and your income is between 193,000 and 203,000, you can contribute to your Roth IRA. There'll be a less portion, but you can go ahead and contribute towards anything above 203,000. You can contribute to the Roth IRA at all if your income is above those levels. Most Americans, the average I think is like 50,000-60,000. So, but you can still contribute if you are married, of course, and you make 193 to 203,000. If you're single, 137,000 is your max. So, now here's another thing. This is why if you're married, file your taxes together and so forth. Because if you're married and you live together anytime during the year, but file separate tax returns, neither of you can contribute towards a Roth IRA if their income exceeds 10,000. So if you make over 10,000, you're married and you file separately, you cannot contribute to the Roth IRA. Okay, so again, if you make less than 193,000, you can contribute up to 6,000. 193, 202,000 begins to phase out. If you make over 203,000, you're ineligible for a direct Roth IRA. But if you talk to your tax specialist, you can ask them about a backdoor Roth IRA. This is where there may be a little loopholes there. Do your assets from a traditional IRA to a Roth. Now, if you make less than 10,000, that Roth also the same thing. You won't be contributing much. So less than 122,000, 6,000. I'm just going over some notes here, but it's very, especially right now in tax season, wanted to bring this up. So remember, if you're 50 and older, you can contribute an additional 1,000. So that comes up to around 7,000. Now, here's the thing: if you make less than 10,000, let's say you make 3,000. That is all you can contribute towards the Roth IRA. You have to keep that in mind. Of course, this is assuming that this is the only work you do and this is the only thing that's reported to the IRS. So anything below 10,000, that would be all you can contribute for the year. So if you're 20, you make 3,000, you have a little part-time job, you don't work much, you can still contribute, but you can only contribute as much as you made that year. Okay? Now, there is some flexibility things for Roth IRA. You can withdraw your contributions at any time without taxes or penalty. Although you normally must hold the Roth account for at least 5 years and be at least 59 and a half before you can tap the earnings tax-free and penalty-free. So there are exceptions. Now, if you die or have a disability, or if you are a first-time home buyer and you use up to 10,000, you can get that tax-free. So if you die, whoever you leave your Roth IRA money to, they can tap in. I think maximum 10,000, or maybe all of it. I'm not sure, but this is for sure. If you're a first-time home buyer, you can tap into that amount up to 10,000 without tax, without penalties or anything. You can avoid the 10% early withdrawal penalty, but will still incur income taxes if you withdraw earnings early to pay, let's say higher education costs for yourself or a family member. So you can go ahead and get that money out if the account holder dies, whoever he or she leaves it to, or if you have a disability, or if you're a first-time home buyer, but you will have to pay taxes on it whenever you do your taxes. It really don't make no sense, right? I mean, it won't be as much as the penalty, and as much as, let's say, the whatever, you know, whatever amount the IRS will charge you. But now there's no mandatory withdrawals. This is another thing about the Roth IRA. Roth account holders are never forced to withdraw money. Traditional IRAs do require withdrawals beginning at age 70 and a half. Now, this is a great thing because it allows you to have your money keep growing, as opposed to the traditional IRA where it stops at 70 and a half whether you like it or not. Now, let's say you leave that money for your children, right? They don't have to pay taxes on it. They don't have to pay no income taxes towards that money. But they are required to take distributions over their lifetime. That means they have to, I assume, make a Roth IRA themselves. Now, now, if you're 65 and a half and older, many people may say, well, okay, I know I can leave it there and leave it untouched. Can still accumulate interest. But what if I want to go ahead and add some more money? Well, you can, as long as you stay within that income limit, the 7,000 a year. Now, a traditional RA, you cannot make no contributions either. 7.5, because you have to take it out. You have to withdraw it, or at least make some sort of withdrawal. You may not have to withdraw everything, but you may still accumulate some interest, but you cannot add any more towards it after 70.5. With a Roth IRA, you can. Let's say you work till 75, you can go ahead and still add money in there. And this is, of course, if it's not like a 401k. A 401k is different. You can go ahead and contribute towards that as long as you work. As long as you work. Now, you have every single year up till April 15 to contribute to that Roth IRA. So let's say that you did not contribute anything in the year of 2018 towards that Roth. Well, you have until April 15. Let's say you have your 6,000 and you wish to put them in your Roth. You can go ahead and do that by or before the 15th of April. Now, so I mean, there's a lot of great information that I just went over. And of course, to get more detailed information about a Roth IRA and how it works, of course, I would advise you to contact a tax specialist, or or go to the IRS website and so forth. But the bottom line is that I just wanted to give you some information about this Roth IRA, how it works, how you can take advantage of it, and how I'm such a thumbs up for it. I would advise anybody, as long as you're within that, you make that income no higher than the numbers I mentioned. I believe it was 130 or something. And mainly this video is for middle class America, because even if you make less than $10,000 a year, you cannot contribute more than what you made that year towards your Roth IRA. So, but this video is mainly for the middle class, where you don't make too much, you don't make too little. You can go ahead and take advantage of a great thing such as a Roth IRA and literally become a millionaire. You can become a millionaire with a Roth IRA, especially if you start early. Let's say you're in your 20s and you keep contributing towards your Roth until, let's say, you're ready to retire. I mean, 59 and a half is the minimum age. You can retire early if you want. At 59, you don't have to wait to 65, which is the retirement age, or I think it may have moved up to 70. But and you can take advantage of the extra perks as well. If when you're ready to buy your first home, you can take out up to, I believe, 10,000 tax free with no penalty. Or if, God forbid, something happens to you, your wife or your family can take advantage of that money, and without having penalties, they'll still have to claim it in their income tax, so they may not get a big return, but they can go ahead and get into it. If, God forbids, you get disabled for whatever reason, you have the opportunity to use that money. So it's a lot of great perks, and of course, there's always some cons to it. I respect everybody's opinion. Some people may find this better, that better. This is just an opinion. This is something that I myself find the most valuable. You don't have to agree with me, nor do I want you to take my advice. I'm just sharing this with you, and it's a suggestion. Read on it, research it, contact a tax specialist, go to the IRS website, find information yourself. If this works for you, go ahead and take advantage of it, because retirement is key. You can become a millionaire in this country by simply saving money for your retirement. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. I believe Einstein said that. So take advantage of it. Re-watch this video whenever you need some more info on the Roth. Go ahead and get online, make some research, and you'll find great information there as well. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe to the video. If it's in your heart, if you can make a donation, this this information, this mission, this program runs on your contributions alone. Okay, so far it's been running on my contributions. I have whatever to make research, to do this, to buy that, to try these things, and then recommend them to you, to make research on this. I've spent my own money, so it's run on my money. If you can contribute something, that will keep this going, that will bring you even more quality videos, and will bring out programs, and of course, if you can make a certain amount Once I have my first program out, I'll give you a discount. I might even give it to you. So it just shows there's perks to being, you know, the first ones, to being, you know, right at the beginning. Those who started in Apple at the beginning, they're multi-billionaires. Microsoft, multi-billionaires. Start at the beginning. So if you can invest now into your philosophy, once it gets to a higher level, you can even get some residual income, because I'll have some investment opportunities as we continue to grow, and making contributions, even if they're small, gives you an opening window towards the future with this company, because it's great information. People love it. I'm not stopping. Okay, so it's a great way. If it's in your heart to donate, please donate. If you see potential in this information in this company, investment may be a good thing for you. You're right at the pinnacle, to take advantage of it. So investment opportunities are welcome. Contact me on the email, and we'll talk about it and see how we can go ahead and get your investment, and how we can go ahead and get you, what you need. Not only your money bank, but how can you get even more? Or how can you become part of the company if you're interested in this type of information? So, thank you guys. Y'all have a good one.